Let's use the Python debugger to diagnose a problem in our Python code. We have a program here called guess.py, which prompts the user to guess either 0 or 1, and then it prints out either correct or incorrect depending on whether the guess was correct. Except there's a bug in our code right now. Even if the guess is correct, it prints out incorrect. Let's try to investigate what's going on here by using the built-in breakpoint function. So breakpoint starts the Python debugger. We're going to add a breakpoint call just before where we think the bug might be in our code. So now when we run our code again, we'll see a PDB prompt. This is the Python debugger. Python is waiting for us to type some commands, and it shows us which line is about to be run next. So Python's actually put our program on pause, and it allows us to type code here. So this is similar to the Python REPL in that we can type lines of code and then see the result of running that line of code. But we can't span our code over multiple lines, unlike in the regular Python REPL. And some valid Python code doesn't quite work because it collides with a PDB command. So in this case, PDB thinks that we're trying to use the help PDB command when we were trying to instead use the built-in help function. These two don't do the same thing. So these are all of the valid PDB commands. Let's talk about some of these commands. The L command lists the current file that we're in and the line that we're on within that file. The N command runs the next line of code, which in our case would be that answer equals line there. So we've just now assigned an answer variable, which is 1. If we use N again, we'll go to the next line and we'll be prompted to put in some input. We'll say 1. So at this point, if we tried to look at answer, it works. But if we tried to look at N and we hit enter, Python would go to the next line of code because N is a valid PDB command. Now, to avoid this conflict between valid Python code and valid PDB commands, we can use an exclamation mark before our code. So for example, before when we used help on randint, we were trying to use the built-in help function. We could have put an exclamation mark before it to tell PDB that this is actually Python code that we're trying to run here. So it forces PDB to interpret everything after that exclamation mark as a line of Python code. The other way we could fix this problem is to run the interact command. Interact will launch a regular Python REPL. So you're probably familiar with a Python REPL. In it, you can type Python commands and see the result. So here, we can see that answer is an integer and N looks like it's a string. So if we say N equals answer, which is what we were just about to do here, we'll get false. That's the bug in our code. So PDB can help you debug your code. And one of the most helpful commands within PDB is interact, which actually launches a regular Python REPL. All right, let's exit the Python REPL and PDB and fix that bug in our code. We need to convert this, which is a string, to an integer so that we can properly compare these numbers here. And it looks like we fixed the bug in our code. Finally printed out correct there. Okay, so when I'm using PDB, these are pretty much all of the PDB commands I use. I mostly use N to go to the next line, and L to list the lines around my current line, as well as interact or occasionally exclamation mark to force PDB to interpret the Python code I'm running as actual Python code. But some of these other commands can occasionally be useful, though honestly just a few PDB commands can get you pretty far with debugging your code. Using print to debug your Python code does work, but it can sometimes be tedious. To start an interactive Python interpreter from right within your program, you can use the built-in breakpoint function to launch the Python debugger PDB, and you can use the interact command within PDB to launch a regular Python REPL.